which takes us to our next topic, which is the Elite Dangerous discussion topic for the evening. So here's my idea. I think it would be a good idea for Elite Dangerous to add global chats to Elite. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes in Elite Dangerous, it can feel like there's a huge galaxy that's pretty empty. And, you know, you see a lot of chatter going on in BYRNE in the old days, back when BYRNE was a thing. You see a lot of chatter going on in the one system where there's a community goal every, you know, whatever, when there's one going on. You see a good amount of chatter going on in Jameson's. In general, in the rest of the game of Elite, you don't see a lot of chatter. And I think that sometimes Elite can feel a little empty, a little lonely, a little devoid of player interaction with player. So the idea is there should be a series of channels created, or at least this is my pitch. I think it would be good if there was a series of channels that were created, some in-game channels like General, which is just everything, Trade, which people talk about buying and selling stuff, whatever, AX for like people that want to work together on killing Thargoids and whatnot, PvP for people that want to get together and either talk shit, talk trash, or arrange a meetup somewhere for a cool or interesting fight, CZs to discuss the conflict zones or you know, Has-Reses could be another one, exploration for just people that are all over the galaxy to say like, hey, I want to talk to other explorers. I might be at Beagle Point. You might be in the, you know, 1,000 light years outside of the Pleiades. Roy might be up near Rackham's Peak. But like, we're three explorers that might want to, you know, bond together or talk about explorations. Just keep each other sort of company while you're 20,000 light years from any other human soul. An engineering channel where people can ask questions and talk about engineering. Hey, what about this? Oh, I found a good shortcut with this. I found a mining channel where people can say, oh, man, I really like this mining build. Oh, I'm having fun with that one. Oh, man, have you seen this location? That's a good whatever. Sort of, you know, stuff like that. Or some out-of-game topics. For example, a help channel where people could just be like, I'm having a bug, I'm having an issue, I'm whatever, something's wrong. And other people that might have an answer to that could say like, hey, this or that. Or a tech channel where people could say like, people could literally talk about like, you know, I found this thing to get the extra frames per second, or, oh, I'm having a problem with this. Oh, have you checked that setting? Whatever. I don't know tech stuff, so I can't even fake it, to be honest with you. But like, so the idea is if Elite Dangerous were to add, say, I don't know, 20 channels to the game that are chat channels that are like you know, General, Trade, AX, PvP, etc., and each commander had an opportunity to opt in or out of those. I'm not saying like you have to you have to be in all of them. No, not at all. Maybe you only care about exploration. Maybe you're Commander Picard and you're like, I don't give a shit about AX or PvP or CZs. I'm just an explorer. I'm out here doing my thing. Or maybe you're CHIG and you just want the full-time CQC channel where your other CQC people are like, yeah, I'm going to get lunch, but I'll be back in an hour and then we'll do matches or whatever, and you can see stuff like that. If a thing like that were to exist across the game, I think it could do a lot for making people feel like there's more of a community. It's not something that requires a whole lot of assets from the standpoint of like, oh, rebuild the whole game, add ship interiors, do this, do that. There's other stuff like ship interiors that I really, really want, but like this would be, I think, a fairly simple thing to do where they could just, you create 20 or 30, whatever, 20 channels. You make it opt-in only. Frontier doesn't have to like keep track of where you're at and whatever. Like you literally tick a box. I want in on this channel. I don't want in on that channel. I think it could help. Let's go around the horn and see what everybody thinks of it. Katie, what do you think?
I support it 100%. To use an example from Star Citizen, which has that kind of feature per server, you have a global chat that, you know, is optional. You can open it up and see what people are saying. the amount of times where I've just clicked that open and there's a conversation going on, and so to give you an example, someone was asking, where is the ship shop at Hurston L5 Lagrange Point Station?
Mhm.
So it's like, wait, there's a ship shop there? And it turns out they were talking about ship components.
Mhm.
But I went to take a look and found a bunch of cool weapons and a bunch of other cool parts I needed. So there is nothing but a benefit to doing that, especially when you've got a galaxy as big as Elite Dangerous is, where players can be separated quite a bit just by the sheer size of it. Having the ability to immediately communicate with globally with other players in Elite Dangerous
Mhm.
would be amazing. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And Roy, hop in on this.
Yeah, so in addition to making, I agree with everything you and Katie have said. I'd say in addition to that, in addition to making the universe feel smaller, I guess, in a good way, like you can sort of get the buzz of what's going on with different groups of people you're interested in. I think back to before Discord was a thing, when MMOs, you basically had chat channels within MMOs, and that was the only way you communicated with people you were playing with. The games owned those communication venues, and I think by not having a more robust chat system, which I think this would be a great example of, they sort of abdicated that to third-party tools, and that's why what we see now with people trying out different games can happen. Like the community, Elite doesn't own the community owns itself, right? And no, I'm not saying that they should create a bunch of channels just to keep people captive, but it sort of creates something that makes people want to stay in the game because of the community's interactions in a way that doesn't exist right now because it's all in third-party tools. So I think they missed a trick there, and they could maybe get a bit of it back if they had a reason for people to communicate through the game.
Right on. Tweet.
Yeah, not only is Elite Galaxy huge, 4 billion star systems, which even if everybody was just playing in open, you'd be spread out a long ways likely, but everybody's not in open. You got open, you got private groups, you got solo, you got Xbox, you got PlayStation, you got PC. So there's all these different segmented groups of people playing, and there's no way to know who's on except for on your friends list, per se. And it would be very beneficial. You mentioned BYRNE, and you could jump into that system. Sometimes Shinny's that way. Sometimes Desiat is that way. You jump into those systems and the system chat comes to life and you feel like something's happening there. And it just brings a bit of excitement to the game. A global chat would do that tenfold for the whole everybody playing in the galaxy. And again, to use Star Citizen as an example, I was watching a good friend of mine stream the other night. He got sent to prison for the first time, and he was typing in global chat on how to mine the rock so that he could lower his sentence, and they answered him. So instead of going to Google or YouTube or whatever and spending your time there, he typed a quick question and boom, he had an answer within seconds.
Well,
that kind of thing would be hugely beneficial in Elite Dangerous for sure.
I think from my experiences thus far, the community of Star Citizen has been extremely helpful, friendly, welcoming, polite. They've been super supportive of helping people along in the game and very dedicated to the project. I have also found that the community of Elite Dangerous has been exactly all of those same things. So I think that if there were new players to Elite, as there always are, with problems and questions, as there always are, I think there would be, for every one asshole out there, there would be 10 or more awesome people in Elite that would be willing to help and willing to help make the experience better for everyone. Wolf, you were up next.
I think especially right now with, down to brass tacks, like we've got really low player count in Elite Dangerous. You can see that on the Steam charts and whatnot. And, like has been said, in the systems that should be popular, they really aren't. I've been flying around doing a number of things in Elite just to have fun doing my own thing. And, I'll go hours without seeing anyone. And granted, not in very high traffic areas to begin with, but I get excited when I see somebody in Connecticut, even 07 in the chat. I think having a channel or players in the game, sharing common interests, being able to talk together, it would introduce a level of camaraderie that the game really needs right now.
Absolutely. You were roboting pretty decently there, Wolf, but it was enough that we got the gist. Everybody got the gist of what you were saying, and it's an excellent point. Um, all right, and that takes us to Chig. Close out the topic, brother.
All right. I like the concept, but from years of playing, back WoW and other MMOs, they all had all the different channels that you could watch and had gotten the habit of reading, all the chat going on. And now I just don't. People, even PM me in game and I just don't see it. I'm just not in that mode. I mean, I can see where it would be beneficial, but a lot of those channels, you could just go to the forums to get the information. I mean, one channel I'd really like to see, actually, two things. Maybe in the right panel, something to access the official forums. You want to go search for something, there you go. The official forums pop up and you can go looking for whatever topic you're looking for. But the one chat channel I think would help would be something like you can see the chat of all the systems within the jump range of your ship or something. You break down, you can type for help or ask a question. It'll be every system, around you. Because right now, you're in any given system, your odds of bumping into anybody is pretty small. But if you get a, 50, 50 light year bubble around you or something, and somebody else and runs out of fuel and they're like, oh my God, I ran out of fuel. I don't know what I did. Or I'm doing a mission. I can't find this contact. Anybody have any answers? It might be more of a local kind of thing and might give you that feeling that people are in space around you. But
So
I don't really, I don't have any problem with a bunch of channels and opting out of them or opting into them, but I don't see it as a priority.
that's an interesting point, though. You're saying to implement it in the way of a sort of in-game lore way of saying, like, your subspace communications or whatever have a range of whatever. Like, maybe even it's a module that you can upgrade and say, hey, mine does 50 light years, yours does 100 light years, or whatever. Like, tie it to something. But
Something
that's
along
an
those
interesting
lines.
thing. That's interesting. I dig
Because,
it.
well, I mean, even if you open up the galaxy map, you could see how many ships were in neighboring systems. Especially populated systems all have nav beacons. Why can't we see stuff through subspace or something? What's happening in other systems and communicating that way. Just an idea. I don't know.
Right on. Very, very, very cool.